Would it be the Over the Bars podcast without gunshot sounds?
Absolutely not.
So I'll tell you what else would not make it the Over the Bars podcast is if we didn't have our Patreon subscribers.
True that.
If you would like to be a subscriber to the Patreon account of Over the Bars and help us essentially keep going with the show, go to patreon.com, patreon.com/overthebars. And we've got a crucial list of our Patreon listeners. Michael's going to pull those up right now while I keep riffing about Patreon. So we have a couple different settings of how you can pledge and donate. So you can be $5, $10, or $15 patrons. And $5 is just like you love the show, you want to be a part of it, you get to buy in for $5. The $10 one is we talk about you on the show, and then the $15 one is like a feature. You're like our top dollar guy, and then or girl, and then we're also trying to get more advertisers, and the easiest way to do that is through Patreon. Now, just for the record, this I believe is our 18th episode, and we've cleared 19th episode, and we've cleared over 10,000 downloads. So that's about 1,000. I mean, that's
we race motocross.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's the other way around. 19,000 plays. So we're almost at 20,000. So we're reaching 1,000 downloads per episode. That's pretty huge.
It is.
So if you want to get in for a super low cost of direct to ear marketing, go to patreon.com/overthebars and check out our corporate level sponsorship offers
around the world.
Yeah, around the world.
The fastest way to
that's
take
the thing.
your
It's like
company around the world.
whether you're like a mom and pop shop selling dog bowls and collars, or whether you're a international multi conglomerate operation, we have a tier for you. We have an option for you. That's like, we've got, okay, example, let's say you have a screen printing shop and you print t-shirts. This would be the perfect opportunity for a screen printing shop to get not just the local Facebook. Okay, see now this is like the main thing between a Facebook advertising and then direct to ear advertising is with Facebook advertising, each click or view you pay for essentially. So like if I throw $5 at a Facebook post,
it's gone.
It's only going to get me 500 people that are going to look at it. Whereas if you throw $25 towards the Over the Bars podcast, not only the ad doesn't disappear over time. It's not like the first 500 people that are going to listen to it and then the ad goes away. No, it's the exact opposite. The ad's there forever. So whenever you're a corporate patron to the Over the Bars podcast, then you can essentially be heard. Your business will be heard forever as long as there's internet because of the way that our stuff is hosted.
And not to mention, there's a lot of people that go back in time to re-listen or listen to back episodes. Like, it's not just new episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do them over and over.
Perfect example is Zach Collier actually told me that he listened to every single episode in 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah, he listened to one and thought it was so cool that he's like, I want to listen to them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Collier approved.
So our Patreon subscribers that we have right now that are, the ones that we want to give a shout out to are Dan Bax, AJ Edwards, Jesse Anderson, Josh Hudson, Dylan Diornellis, Sarah Ball, Cole Mayeb, Eric Young, Christopher McKillop, and Corey Hip. And then also our first corporate sponsorship is through or corporate advertisers through Donnell's Motorcycles, but you'll hear more about them later. So if you want to be like any of these fantastic people, just go to overthebars.com, or I'm sorry, patreon.com/overthebars. And then also if you want to buy an Over the Bars t-shirt, go to ripandruts.com and then click on the store, and then you can buy a t-shirt from there. My buddy from Oklahoma, Bob Paper, bought a t-shirt from ripandruts.com. Let's start the show.
Let's do it.
Okay.
OG Yeah, OTB, who's this?
It's you. Call us at 816-408-0123. Have you been thinking about buying a new motorcycle? Do you know that the 2018 edition motorcycles are out? Are you aware that the all-new from the ground up RMZ 450 by Suzuki is available now on the showroom floor at Donnell's Motorcycles? If you're interested in RMZ 450, call them at 816-478-9393 or visit them in person at 12501 West US 40 Highway. Let me tell you a little bit of the all-new RMZ 450 2018 edition. It's completely redesigned for 2018. The RMZ 450 wraps a sleek, race-ready appearance around a stronger engine and a nimble chassis that continues the Suzuki tradition of extraordinarily precise handling, which, Michael, you and I can both agree the Suzukis have been known for pinpoint accuracy.
This is true.
Of how the motorcycle goes.
This is very true.
Okay, so developed using Suzuki's run, turn, and stop philosophy that creates a winning balance, the 2018 RMZ 450 has stronger brakes for better stopping power, a wider spread of engine muscle with higher peak power, and a chassis that is stronger, lighter, and more nimble to raise the standard for cornering performance. Now, this is just anecdotal evidence, but I can say that Chris Thies has told me that the 2018 RMZ 450 is the best Suzuki that he's ever ridden. And he says that, like, the old bike is absolutely, like, it's not even comparable to this new one. And the old bike, like, I rode Nick Peterson's, 2016 RMZ 450. Great bike. I loved it. I even loved the SFF Showa separate function forks. They were great. Well, the new 2018, all new from the ground up, there's nothing but positives around this bike. I understand that it is one of the greatest 450s ever built. Now, they say that the engine is not a brute, but it's very rideable, manageable horsepower. And then whenever you buy an RM, or in this case, RMZ, you can enlist in the the RM Army and enjoy Suzuki amateur racing support. As a matter of fact, Suzuki's RM Army and amateur racing support is top-notch, offering over $3.8 million in contingency, trackside support, and the opportunity to train with Ricky Carmichael at Suzuki's exclusive Camp Carmichael. And if you want to see why champions choose Suzuki, visit racesuzuki.com for more information on Suzuki's amateur support program and enlist in the RM Army. Or you can go see Bart Shiflett at Donnell's Motorcycles. Cha-ching! That's right, baby. 2018 RMZ 450. Just picture yourself on it now. All right, let's start the show. OTB, here we are.
We have a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, so I've completely updated all of our... the only thing that we're using that was the same from the last show was the computer. Literally everything else is new. We've got a new mixer, we've got new cables, new microphone stands, new microphones. We're using the state-of-the-art Shure SM58's microphone. And I'm thoroughly happy with the way that it sounds, and hopefully our listeners do too. Now, if you do hear a plane overhead or the air conditioner running...
Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, welcome to the studio. You're in it live. So the microphones and the new mixer picked that up pretty well. And we're still toying with the settings overall.
We also kept our classy table.
Oh, we did keep the classy table. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So now this is a new feature for the Over the Bars podcast, and this is something we talked about doing a long time ago. If you would like to call into the OTB show, you can do so at 816-408-0123. So we have an account set up with Google Voice to where you can call in and you can leave us voicemails, and we will actually download those and then insert those towards the end of the show or whenever we have the time to slot it in.
I didn't know that feature existed.
Actually, yeah. So if you want to call in during the week and leave us a voicemail, an OTB voicemail, because you weren't able to catch the show live on Facebook Live, totally understandable. It's Friday night at 10 o'clock. I understand if people are out doing things. But yeah, if you want to call in, it's 816-408-0123. And we try to do the show weekly. And the number one thing, if you want to make sure, if you want to call in and be on the show live or be on the recording, then you're going to have to follow the Over the Bars podcast Facebook, follow the Over the Bars Instagram, and subscribe to the show on iTunes and Stitcher. Now, because iTunes doesn't have a going live feature yet, I'm sure that they will at some point. It's not an instant notification. Also, something that I thought of on the way over here, Mike, you might think this is cool, but I'd like to set up like a text message subscriber system to where like our fans will know that we're going live. So we just punch in, hey, we're going live, and then boom, it sends out to the show.
Do you know how many dates at 10 o'clock on a Friday night are going to be left alone in a movie theater? Bring OTBs on. Got to go. See ya.
See you, babe.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. I'll call you.
We're real home wreckers.
Yeah. So we're actually, what we're going to do now, and this is a whole new thing for the OTB shows, we're going to go live on Facebook Live. And so what's funny is people will listen to this. There will probably be people that I'd like to think that some of our fans and listeners will watch the Facebook Live video that is about to happen and wonder what happened before that.
Yeah.
And now they know.
Now they know.
So I'm going to pause this real quick and we're going to go live.
Let's do it. Money.
I'm pretty excited. I kind of feel like I'm on Loveline and Dr. Drew, or Dr. Drew and Loveline, because we're just waiting for somebody to call now.
Do you watch Dr. Drew and Loveline often?
Okay, so Loveline was a show that was on 96.5, or it was what's the word? Syndicated on 96.5.
Okay.
And it's just a call-in show.
I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of the old lady that's on TV at night.
Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth! Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, that old bird.
Yeah, Dr. Ruth.
Something. So I'm also going to post on my Facebook now that I'm going to, or that we're doing, the call-in.
Excellent.
So I understand that you went. Did you tell me that you went RC car racing on Wednesday?
Yes.
Where?
Fastlane Raceway, Blue Springs.
Was it just?
It's a Wednesday night, like a Kingsville Friday night.
How many people show up for a deal like that?
I think there was 60 entries, maybe 50 or 60. Not a crazy amount, but good enough.
What classes did you race? Because I'm always trying to figure out what classes you race and what classes there are.
Well, okay, so the indoor track runs littler cars, 10-scale cars, inside electric cars, and then outside is gas cars. But I ran both because they race both on Wednesdays. So I decided to run both. Chaotic, very chaotic. Spent the evening there with our good pal, Jared Tebow.
Did he race?
Yes.
I assume he won.
Do you even have to ask?
By a large margin?
Actually, the class that he raced, which would be two-wheel drive mod buggy, which it actually only had 2 entries on Wednesday night. So it was him and his other buddy, Patrick.
Okay.
You might know Patrick. He rides, too. Patrick Meyer. Him and his wife, Angela, used to ride. They used to go out to...
Hold on. Did he used to work at Freedom in the parts department?
I don't know. Maybe.
Huh.
But they used to go out to... before Tracy got big with his track building, what track... Was it his track out in Kansas?
He had a track in Osawatomie.
Okay, that's the one. He used to go out there all the time.
Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick Meyer. Yeah.
Pat Meyer.
Pretty quick.
I have no idea.
Now he races, well, I don't think he has a mountain bike anymore. He kind of got into the vintage thing. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not much older than you and I.
Yeah.
But he got into the vintage thing and just thought it was really cool and kind of got all nostalgic with it.
Yeah.
And now he's like fixing up vintage bikes and does some vintage races here and there. But he's got a little boy now that he's getting a PW50 all rigged up for.
Right on.
Yeah. Good guy.
So, did you just race or did you announce also?
No, I just raced.
How'd you do?
I won. actually.
Really?
I did.
Michael brought home a title.
Brought home the W.
Yeah. Did you get a trophy?
No.
How many guys were in your class? 1?
15. It's not nice.
It was funny to me.
My feelings are hurt.
Don't get your feelings hurt. See, yeah, because I initially said, hey, let's do the show on Wednesday night. And you're like, nope, going racing.
So, okay, all right. Since you're talking about this. So I've thought about a lot about this. Okay, so my 30th birthday is coming up in January.
By the way, I just turned 29 a couple days ago.
I know. I don't even think I wish you a happy birthday.
It's fine.
No, that's terrible. We're supposed to be like broskies.
Yeah.
And I didn't even send you a little birthday cake emoji or nothing.
I'll get over it.
Okay. I'll buy you a cup. Do you eat cupcakes?
Vegan cupcakes.
Vegan cupcakes. Do they make such a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a place in Lawrence called Shanna Cakes. They have other types of cupcakes and stuff, but their main thing is vegan bakery, and it's awesome, dude. They're seriously like vegan treats are better than the regular ones because it doesn't have all the bullshit in it. You're just getting like the dough, the icing. You're getting the flavor. So if you're doing like a strawberry cupcake, dude, it's just like strawberry flavor. It's like real authentic strawberry cupcake.
What's like the cupcake made out of?
Well, I mean, all the same shit that it's normally made out of, but instead of using like milk, they use almond milk. Instead of using instead of using eggs, they use.
So it's not like a stick of broccoli.
Oil. No. It is a baked good.
Hey.
Just like, a regular
When you
cupcake.
say vegan cupcake, I think of like those greeny dog treats that you give your dog. That's like a vegan cupcake for a dog.
I don't want one of those. I wouldn't eat one of those.
You know the guy that used to work here for my dad?
Randy?
No, Mike.
Mike.
He used to get them all the time for his dog. I think the UPS guy or something brought him.
Okay.
He told me one time that he ate one.
Yeah.
And they weren't that bad because he wanted to make sure that what he was getting for his dog was good. I don't know if I believe him.
Full disclosure, I've snacked on some dog treats in my day.
You want to hear a dog street story?
Yeah,
I got a dog street.
absolutely.
Okay, so down here, this was years ago,
I've got a story also, but I want you to finish yours.
Okay, so old Derek Tuning, our good pal, home skillet. He was down here hanging out, whatever, and he is a huge fan of vanilla wafers. And so over behind you, I had on the shelf some vanilla wafers. So he's just munching down on these things. Ate like half a box of them. Well, comes to find out, Mike, who worked here, they weren't vanilla wafers. They were vanilla woofers. They were dog treats.
Oh, no.
He ate half a box, didn't even know it. And then I'm looking at him like, there's a dog on the box. And he's like, yeah, they're like an off-brand or something, but they're pretty good. And I was like,
Vanilla woofers?
dude, I was like, these are dog treats. He ran in the bathroom and he threw up for like 30 minutes straight.
I could see Derek doing that and being like, you remember how he only used to eat Doritos and Pepsi?
Yes.
Okay, and then he gets the vanilla woofers and he's thinking, oh, dude, these are my brand.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, no, it's a dog treat.
Hamburgers, ketchup only.
Seriously.
That was the other thing he had.
But your dad also ate stuff like that too, didn't he?
My dad just eats everything plain. And now he gets it with no salt since he had a heart attack.
I don't know what to think of that. What are we... So...
I have something to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, hold on, wait, before you ask that.
Yeah, what's your dog treat story?
Okay. It's actually not dog treats. It's about
Okay.
rabbit food. Okay.
Okay.
So rabbit food are these tiny little pellets.
Yes, they go in the exact same way they come out.
So anyway, one day I was roaming around my yard. Oh,
Unknown caller.
We have a caller.
we've got a caller. Let's go live.
Call from.
Garlach, the announcer.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Garlach.
We're live. OTB podcast has got Garlach, the announcer, on the mic.
What up, dude? Hey, are you in...
Just watching the old Royals do their thing and win the game here against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Game is over. Mike Minor finishes the game with a strikeout. Man looking, and the Royals are winning again, but way too late.
Yeah, it's a little late after we had the worst April possible.
Yeah, of existence.
Yeah. Hey, so you're not? I'm surprised you're not on your way to Wheatland to the Lucas Oil race.
Right. Yeah. The Jay Reynolds dude, I think, has or he does the announcing himself, I guess, to save him money or whatever, so he can, what do you call, make more money for himself or whatever. I saw Austin Beach complaining on Facebook about the fact that he had to pay like $115 for like 8 laps of practice.
Really?
What?
Yeah, he got like 2 practices, had to pay like $100 and whatever dollars for it, and yeah, he the middle finger flew on his Facebook post. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. And then he's like, and he mentioned something about Jay Reynolds actually being in charge of the deal. I don't think I've ever met the guy, so I mean, I honestly have no, personal opinion of him. I mean, just because I've never done anything with the Nitro Arena Cross, whatever that Nitro, whatever it is. So, I mean, I can't personally give any, opinions of him or what he does. So, it's just that I just saw that and it kind of, I found some humor in it.
That's not the first time. I don't want to talk poorly about Jay because he's not here to defend himself, but that's not the first.
Right.
That's not the first time that I've heard somebody say something like that about how it seems like it's just a, extortion scheme for his company to get as much money out of your pocket while he can in a short amount of time. But then again, the service that he's...
I mean, they put on a great show, though. I mean, from what I can tell, you know what I mean? I mean, they always have, MX343 doing dirt work, for their tracks. So the tracks are always generally primo. And
yeah,
I mean, speaking of MX343 and dirt work, I was a little disappointed that I didn't get to see you race on Sunday because I missed practice Saturday at Casey Moto, and then drove up and it was a beautiful day. And the track was just incredibly primo, and I don't know. I missed you. I didn't get to see you.
That was my question for you. Why didn't you race Casey Moto, Jeffrey?
Well, that's because 2 weeks ago, and Jeff, I think you might be able to chime in on this in a second. So 2 weeks ago, I went to Kevin Moranza's house, and he's got this It's very supercrossy. It's probably one of the more supercrossy tracks I've ever rode. I'm not a supercross guy, but he's got this full-fledged supercross triple right in the front section. And whenever we were first riding, the track was pretty slick because it had rained a bunch on Saturday night. So I sent it, and I was on the... So Kevin hit it on his 250F, and he's like third gear, completely wrapped out, like 14,000 RPM. And I'm like... oh my God, this is a big jump. I'm going to have a hard time making this. So on my 252 stroke, I'm third gear and I weigh a little bit more, but I hooked up a little bit better and came around the corner, pinned and over jumped it, flat landed it.
No.
And compressed my back a little bit. So I kept riding.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I kept riding and I felt fine. I mean, obviously my back hurt, but I was just like, I'm seat bouncing shit all day. I'll get over it. But then I went home and dude, it was like, I don't know. I mean, I was hurting pretty bad, but okay. So Jeff, and this has happened to me before. I've had this issue where if I hurt my back and then I have to go to work to compensate for loss of back strength, I use my hamstrings and hips and my upper legs, and then they get real tight. But the thing now, I have a series of stretches that I do, but if
you do,
yeah, I do. I stretch before bed every single night. I stretch and roll every night.
Really?
Yeah. So, but the thing is, if my back's hurt, I can't do my stretches, and then my hamstrings get tight, and then they will actually pull. Now, Jeff, this is more of your
wheelhouse.
Yeah, your wheelhouse. But what will happen is those hamstrings will get so tight where they weave up in and connect to the pelvis area. It will actually pull my pelvis downward away from my spine.
Yep.
And it's fucking excruciating pain.
Yeah.
So I took, I worked all week and stretched as much as I could. But then on Saturday I went and rode, and dude, it was like I was back to square one, if not worse, than the week before after riding on Saturday. So
the situation is like you have to understand the mechanics, and that's probably the beauty, the most beautiful portion about chiropractic and what it is that I do is that everything's completely based upon physics. So, I mean, you have every joint in your spine, and we'll just talk about your lumbar, your low back, for this particular conversation.
Okay.
There's three components of it that bear weight. There's the disc, or the end plate of the vertebra, and then there's the two joints. They're actually called facet joints on the posterior aspect of the spinal cord that bear the weight. And there's a curve in your low back, which is designed to support the weight of the spine in your upper body upon such. And when you come down and you compress from coming down on a jump part or a casement or whatever the case may be, one of those three or two of those three components can become compromised in the fact that you can have a disc bulge, or herniated disc is another name for it. In which case you'll have a different type of symptoms. It'll be more like, I don't really have back pain, but man, I have this crazy radiating pain down my leg. Or you'll have just that localized pain that's just right in that area where everything in that area gets mad, and then all the muscles around it start tightening up.
Yep.
And that's basically when you actually smack the two facet joints on the back together, and then they get inflamed, and then your brain gets all mad, and it's like, okay, something's wrong, so it tries to lock everything down. It's just a natural response. So like ice to the spine, when that happens, is like primo. I mean, that's like the number one thing that you can do. And then obviously stretching and motion helps it out as well, because it's really weird how the joints, like everybody's popped their knuckles before, and I think it's funny how people think, popping your knuckles is so bad, and some people don't, but a lot of people, heard the lifestyle, if you pop your knuckles, you get arthritis and stuff like that. I mean, that can't be any further from the truth. I mean, to an extent, if you pop it every single day, like a billion times a day, sure, that's not going to be good for it, but the same thing applies with your back, and the fact that, especially when you jam, the joints together in the spine, and then they stick in a certain position or whatever, and then inflammation from your brain comes down, and all the muscles cinch down and lock everything into place. It's just like a kind of a vicious cycle. So until you get rid of the inflammation via ice, stretch out the muscles once the pain's down, utilizing ice and then heat in combination to adjust the heat once you get past that initial stage of pain,
right.
And then actually restore joint motion. It's one of those deals that it sucks, especially when you have to work the next day or whatever the case may be. And that's, I mean, ultimately the pinnacle portion of why I chose what I did as a profession to get into chiropractic.
Yeah. So I so I took I don't ride during the week, and then work, like, obviously through proper lifting technique, I was able to do the job. But then, like I said, what it did is it made those hamstrings tight. But then I got to the point to where I
get tight.
Right. Yeah. So then I went riding, and like I said, I was back to square one. But then I was having a blast, and I was like, fuck yeah, man, I'm going to come back and, kill them tomorrow. And then on the way home, like, whenever
everything locked up.
Right, exactly, because whenever you're riding, the adrenaline takes over, and
right. Yeah, and everything's warm because you got blood flowing and stuff like that. So right.
But then you get in the truck and drive home for an hour and a half, and you get in that locked seated position, and it's not good. So I went to work on Monday, and it was pretty rough, and not only was it that the compression, but it was also that feeling of being stretched out at the same time, which sounds, counterintuitive, but it was both. It was
that's
both
exactly
compression.
What happens.
And so then on Tuesday, my girlfriend and I we went and got in a cryo chamber, and I did 2 minutes at 130 degrees below zero, and that was huge. but then in combination,
like you said, it's the ice.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you get those. I mean, see what a lot of people don't understand is A, what inflammation is, and B, what the ice does to make it go away, and that there are a thing called a cold stress, not protein. What's the word for it? But anyway, it's where your body has an immediate reaction towards a cold shock. And so your body produces, I mean, what is it that it produces, Jeff, whenever you
take a cold shower?
Yeah, or like, and the same thing is like you have a heat stress reaction, from doing like an infrared sauna or a wet sauna for.
I would still think it'd be adrenaline.
Well, I mean, there's definitely an adrenaline to it, but there's a specific thing that it's slipping my mind right now. But anyway,
protein, yeah. And I don't have a cryo chamber. I've never done a cryo chamber. That's not necessarily above my pay grade. Just something I've never researched or studied or anything like that.
So then after I did the cryo chamber, then I got in these, it's like this giant massaging airbag that wrapped around. I did it on my hips and my back. And I can't remember the name of it, but I had them pump it up to 10. And then I would say that the air pressure was somewhere around 75 to 150 pounds per square inch of air pressure. And it's like having not just a massage, but like a localized compression. I mean, okay, so
how did you not shit your pants?
Well, because
it was frozen.
Yeah, because it's not compressing your bowels; it's compressing your muscles. You know how like whenever if you get a massage, how you have that very finite, localized area, whereas with this thing, it was a broader compression, the same way that like a compression sleeve works.
Okay. Fair enough.
So it's like a gigantic...
And it squeezes the lactic acid out of the muscles back up into the bloodstream, and yeah, it's just good.
Is that what the new arm pump thing does?
They have those boots and stuff. They're cool.
So, okay, yeah, so it's the same thing that they do the boots and then the arms with, but the place that I went to, they have a hip thing where it goes up over your lower
hip and low back. That's sick.
And dude,
is it a chiropractic office or what is it?
No, it's not. It's like I can't remember. It's like a holistic healing place. It's in Lawrence, and I can't remember the name of it. It's on 6th Street, but dude, the lady that ran the place, she hooked us up. We did the cryo chamber for 2 minutes for $25, and then she gave us the 30-minute pressure thing for free on top of it. So
nice.
I mean, and yeah, seriously, and it was a next level deal. I mean, and it's one of those things where like with chiropractic, and like whenever you're getting adjusted and stretched, it's like an immediate reaction thing where as soon as you stand up, you feel better. And then there also are the long-term benefits over time. Now with this thing, it was not an immediate reaction where my body was like, oh, okay, we're all fixed. But within 3 or 4 hours later, I was so much more flexible from being cold and compressed than I was before we went in.
Bet you can't tie your legs in a knot like I can.
No, I can't. So, but yeah, man, it's cool to have that out there as an available option for people that don't want to go the chiropractic route, or don't want to go like the physical therapist route, or don't want to take an ice bath. Because with an ice bath, that's a lot of setup time, and then getting really cold for a long time to get the same amount of cold therapeutic
benefit.
That you would get out of 2 minutes in cryo chamber. And I mean, I kind of pushed out. So we obviously the door was closed, and then it shot the nitrogen in, or the liquid frozen nitrogen, but it didn't. I didn't cover the top of it. Next time I go in, I'm going to cover the top of it to where I'm totally in.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, the thing that you have to look at from the average rider standpoint is like, in this particular industry, you have to understand the actual thrash that everybody puts on their body on on the daily ride. Not that everybody rides daily, but on the day that you do ride and the frequency that you ride, everybody decides that, okay, I want to have new tires. Okay, I got to make sure my air filter is clean. Okay, I got to make sure I've got good gas. Okay, I got to make certain I've got great oil, and then all the rest of the trinkets and stuff for gear, safety, etc. And everybody wants to spend all this money and all this maintenance on their machine, but then they I don't know. It's just I don't understand why the regular average dirt bike guy doesn't understand the importance of spinal hygiene when it comes to staying safe and staying injury free. And like the other additional benefits to chiropractic that the layperson doesn't have any idea about it as well, just due to the fact that our education system is so hell bent on medicine and medical first,
right.
Where the a holistic approach in a conservative care setting, in almost all cases decreases your possibility of getting injured, decreases your frequency of getting sick, increases your immune response. I mean, there's so many different benefits to conservative care that most people just don't even know about. And when they, go out and spend all this money on their bike, and they're like, oh, well, I don't have money to do this. And then once they get injured, they're like, oh, well, is there a way I could have prevented this? Or why did this happen? And then now what do I do? Now it's going to cost even more to, in a situation just like you're talking about, where you've had this particular condition before. What could you have done, to prevent situations like this from occurring? Or is there a way for you to prevent, okay, I 86 the 15-foot double and land 80-foot pass it in the flat? How can I protect my back so that it doesn't get hurt when something like that occurs? Because it always happens. Like it happens to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's it's like how you said, people will they'll buy new oil for their bike, but they won't bend over and grab their ankles the night before going riding or afterwards.
Right.
And they won't buy a $10 foam roller, but they'll buy,
right.
$30.
Unknown caller.
Oh, stand by 1 second. I don't know who this is. But they'll buy.
The foam rollers are epic. I mean, just the fact that that's just neat, because mobilizing the tissue in the lumbar spine and in the thoracic spine, your mid and low back, is extremely important when it comes to not only spine health, but the fact that, like, a lot of people don't understand the differences between your postural muscles, your spine muscles, versus like your biceps or your fast twitch muscle fibers, your legs, etc. Stuff that you can move really fast. Your back muscles, they just constantly fire all the time.
Yeah.
So to a certain level, when they get overworked, they are going to have a certain level of lactic acid in them. But once you get knots in them, which causes back pain, once you do all sorts of stuff and you don't ever, squeeze or do anything to mobilize the tissue and or the spine, which is exactly what a foam roller does. You end up with chronic conditions, such as, chronic low back pain or, chronic, mid back pain, and posture is another. I mean, seriously, I've been in practice for working on a little over 2 years now. And Jeff Crutcher, the biggest thing I see in all of chiropractic is the poor posture, man, the text neck. Like, that's the number one biggest complaint that causes so many other conditions that you wouldn't relate to, I'm looking at my PDA all day long and, okay, I got a meeting, but I've been looking and playing my game for 2.5 hours. And, now my mid back hurts. I've got this, cold, all these other conditions that people don't understand all relate to the spine in itself. And I don't know, it's just really neat. I just kind of took it away because you said you're trying to type to somebody and you're talking about, the whole foam roller deal. And I think that's epic that you utilize good tools to keep your spine mobile and healthy, because it's important, especially if you've had problems with your back before. At least you're actively doing stuff for it to make certain that you can keep it as healthy, as mobile as possible. And that's, I think, what everybody should do. Even if they don't have low back pain, they should address the fact that they're putting so much stress on it by riding, by, going in third gear into a corner wide open and bottoming the suspension out because it's, super tacky mud, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, buddy. Hey, it's just preventative maintenance. Like 10 minutes of stretching will make a lifetime difference between I'm sure you've heard people say that sitting is the new smoking, and people sit with bad posture, and then they walk around with bad posture, looking down with an elongated neck, and they're stretching out muscles in their body that our body is not built to do. And they're sulking their shoulders and walking with their hips wrongly and pointing their toes out. And it's there's a lot of issues that people are having with their posture that they don't know is a problem. And part of the reason is because, like you said, our school structure program addresses the body so little because it is such a complex, system, and because it's kind of hard to have someone, that knows about the body to be able to teach it, to also only take a $25,000 payroll and teach.
Right.
It's a catch because you can't have someone that is a professional in the field live off a $25,000 salary of what public schools are paying out. So the money isn't there to pay for it, and then it's a catch-22. And hopefully with being in the age of information and the age of YouTube and podcasts, that people utilize the ability to learn on the go. Because I saw a meme a couple months ago that was like the perfect analogy of the way to learn now, where like 10, 15 years ago, you had to sit in a classroom at a university with 100 other people to get an education. But now in 2017, all you have to do is click the podcast app, and you literally have beyond anything that you could ever, I can learn from 15 different, professors in 1 week about either one subject or a bunch of different subjects. And I can either become acute in one subject or obtuse in a bunch, and well-rounded. Right. So it's a catch for sure. But hey, are we going to see you anytime soon? Let's see. The next deal that you got coming up that I think that I'll see you at will be the Kansas State Championship at Bar to Bar. That is the freshly announced first ever Kansas AMA, the AMA Pro-Am.
No, but just wait. Guess who just got signed for the October race, the final round of the Best of the Midwest Series, and who's going to assist with the award ceremony post-race in Abbott, Nebraska at Abbott MX. I'm so pumped.
Yeah, I think you're the right guy for that job.
And I talked to Fritz about the deal, and he's such a cool dude and super warm heart, bearing guy. And I have yet to make it to that track yet. And there's a Kansas State race that weekend. And I called the track owner at Inman MX IMX in Inman, Kansas, and I was like, dude, man, these guys, they're asking me to go do this, and because I already told the guy that I would, but I gave him, a few weeks advance notice so he could find somebody else. And he's like, dude, just go do it. It sounds like it's big, and it sounds like it'd be a fun deal. We can get hooked up next year, because I already announced one of their races this year at IMX, and it's one of these deals. Like, I'm getting to know more and more guys in the Quadra State area up there, KC area, and yep. I love the families up there so much. All the dudes are super cool. I've met so many friends from not only Iowa, but Missouri, Nebraska, etc. And so it's one of those deals. I'm super pumped to be able to go up there. I went up and did that crazy race in Omaha, that nighttime national deal that they had up there.
Yep.
And that was super fun. And they're having the last round of Best of the Midwest Series. Are you going to try to make it up to that one, at least for a practice? Have you been to have it?
I have not yet, but it's on my hit list for sure. But October is going to be a pretty packed month for me between A, work at FedEx, and B, I've got, I'm going to go to the not Verb Cup, but the Evergood Open at Oak Ridge. And then there's something else I had in my calendar of stuff that I had to do on one of the weekends, but
in October.
Yeah, I can't remember. But if I can, I will go for sure. But also, I'm going to do the Riverfront GP on Thanksgiving Day weekend, so I got to start training and riding in the sand, and that's in Arkansas, but I'm going to go up and ride at the OHV park in Council Bluffs a couple times with Tucker Smith and try to get some sand whoops in up there.
Chuck's a fast rider. He's a cool dude.
For sure. Well, hey, buddy. Hey, we appreciate you calling in to OTB. It's good to check in with.
Thanks for having me, OTB.
Dr. Jeff.
Woo!
All right, buddy. Well, hey, we'll catch up soon. We'll give you a call before the Pro-Am at Bard Bar. How's that sound?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to hear from you again. Jot down my number, area code 316.
Hey, Jeff. Don't say it because we're on air.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a doctor anyway, so I need to be available so people can call me and ask me questions. But it's 650-4584. Just let me know anytime. It's a pleasure to be on. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the evening, and of course, go Royals and go Chiefs.
All right, thanks, bud. Talk to you soon.
All right, night, guys.
Jeff Garlach, Dr. Jeff Garlach.
I did not know he was a doctor.
He was a chiropractor.
I did not know.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
Your guys' conversation, it got so in depth right there.
Yeah.
Well, I was answering people asking questions on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I lost it. I don't know. I blacked out. I don't even know what just happened.
Well, I mean,
I'm back now.
yeah. Whew. Glad to have you back, Mike.
Thank you. Feels good. It's good to be back.
Yeah. So you were saying, okay, so now this is something we're working on because this is a total trial run beta test.
Yes.
So whenever somebody's on the phone with us, whenever they call in, the other numbers are just saying that the number's unavailable or busy.
Well,
or
we got one message that it says it gives like a busy signal and then hung up. But then in the middle of Jeff, when your phone rang, that was the same number that Jeff's came up as?
No. Okay, so the other number was a 310 number.
Oh.
I don't know who from California would have called me, but it was. See, that's the thing is I don't even. Yeah, that was on Google Voice. They called me on Google Voice.
There you go.
I don't know how.
Call him back.
Oh, that's funny. It was my buddy Hazem. We'll give him a call. Let's see, forward numbers to connect calls. On the next screen, you will see the forwarding number. Tap call. Got it. Wait, that's weird. Whatever. Okay, so, I don't know. I think, okay, so see, we're using Google Voice, which is an app on the phone, and I don't quite have it totally mastered yet. Like I said, that Garlach calling me was the first time anybody has called and have been recording.
He was our first.
That was good to hear from him.
It was good to hear from him.
Yeah, because he's wanted to come on the OTB show for a long time, but it's hard to get the guy up from Wichita. Dude, this is the coolest part. Now we get to actually dive into our Rolodex.
He's from Wichita?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, no, he drives up here to announce.
Wow. That's a haul.
Well, I mean, he's getting paid to do it, but
Yeah.
I mean, on the other hand, that's a long weekend to
Come up, yeah.
to come up and announce. But then look at you on the other hand, you got on an airplane and flew to California to announce for free.
True.
Maybe Best in the Midwest Series is Jeff's AMA Nationals.
True.
Could
Okay.
be.
Could be.
So I told somebody that we were going to call them. So let's see if we can get a hold of Jordan Hoover. So Jordan Hoover owns or operates Document Magazine, which is like the... Do you remember whenever Playground was Kansas City Extreme?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that's what Document is. Document's more like a black and white boutique skate magazine. I brought it in here on the very first OTB podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah.
So if you want to check out Document Magazine, it's document.mag on Instagram, and then I'm sure you can just type in Doc Mag or document magazine onto Google and find them. So we're going to give Hoover a call here and see what he's up to, because I want to talk to him about the magazine really bad, but I haven't been able to pinpoint him down just quite yet. So we're going to give him the.
Are we straight cold calling him right now? Like he has
we
no
are.
idea?
Yeah, we are going to give him a cold call. No,
It's only like, what time? Where's he at?
East Coast, Florida.
Awesome. So it's like midnight his time.
We're doing FaceTime audio on this one, so it comes through a higher quality. Let's see if he picks up. I feel like we should play the Jeopardy music right now.
Yeah.
Crutcher, what's happening?
My dude, you are live on the Over the Bars podcast.
Over the bars, I finally hear from you.
How are we? Can you hear me, Jordan?
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. So with me is my co-host, my counterpart, Mike Garrison.
What's happening?
What's up, Mike?
So talk to us, explain to us a little bit, explain to me. Jeff knows the whole story. I've seen was that the first that you brought?
Yeah, that was the first magazine.
The first of your magazine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
where's it gone from there?
That's a good installment of the document magazine.
Yeah, so you've done, do you have the second issue releasing, or is that already released and you're working on the third one right now?
I do have a second, but Jeff Crutcher is probably a little bit too cheap to buy the second one, so he doesn't have it yet.
Don't roast me on my own show, bro.
Hey, you called me, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, I told you that I was going to call you, though.
But yeah, I have a second one. I should probably send it to him, but I have been waiting on some stickers from him for a little bit. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Well, how about this? As soon as we get off, because I'm in the studio where we print all the stickers, as soon as we get off, send me a text message with your address, and we'll just put it in the mailbox right now.
Well, that's perfect. And then we'll exchange 2 and 3, because I'll probably lag enough to not send you the second one until the third one's out.
So, is it the second or third episode issue that was on the MXGP at WW?
That will be the third one. The second one was a bit of I wouldn't say a filler, but it was a bit of randomness, a bit of like striving for some traction. And then the third one, we gathered some at least structure for covering an event and putting out a full event just based off of film photography.
Yep.
So it's kind of gathering some strength and gathering some structure and kind of ideas as far as moving forward to keep it something different and relevant to what's happening in the world of motocross in a different way, I would say. Not so much the general public.
See, that's
perception.
what I love about what you're doing is that you've got this magazine that's, it's okay. So, God damn it! Stand by 1 second. So, sorry, I had a little audio clip on the deal there that just popped right in. So, my question is, like, what do you think of like the new? God damn it! Stand by 1 second. I pushed the wrong button. Okay. There we go. Sorry. Okay, so what, dude? So we've got this new system on the deal here, and it's it's a totally new operation. I'm working with a new mixer, the same software, but we got new microphones, new mic booms, new cables. So we're trying to run with a new program here, but you have to switch it from DJing the local Kansas bar to OTB night. Whatever pays the bills, dude. Okay,
exactly.
So where I was going was, ever since like Axel Hodge has become like a household name in motocross, have you noticed how like, now I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg here first, of what came first. Did Axel fill the void of there being like a pro video rider, like in skateboarding, or did he kind of create a like his own path, and now that's like the shockwaves have sent out through motocross in general, where it's like less about, I've noticed that it's less about results and more about Instagram followers than, getting hard counts on the lap sheet.
Well, it's interesting that you bring him up, because he's actually he's a subject that I'm pretty interested in. Because as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm pretty interested in his skill. And, like, to me, he seems like a personality that's being, like, held behind the scenes almost. Like, I feel like they're almost portraying him in a poor way.
As
To
just being
where-
like a SoCal kid that likes tits
Well,
and
yeah,
whips.
to me, they're portraying him as, like, I mean, not to be wrong, everything that they've done with him so far, it has been pretty cool, but, like, I feel like they could develop it in a more type of skate way to where they're actually showing a more realistic side of him, because he's badass, dude. Like, everyone that can ride a bike knows, hey, that shit that he's doing is not easy or not natural. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, okay, I can't do oppo whips, period. But then to do it in the sand dunes and jumping 185 feet, fourth gear wide open, like, not only does it take balls, but it takes a lot of talent and skill to do that kind of shit.
Yeah, and he's close to McGrath, who teaches him quite a bit of skill, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting to know the real Axel Hodges, and I think that might be an opportunity for me in the future, as far as who I'm kind of like dealing with right now, and working towards like a positive outcome of what I'm working on.
What an expose it would be for your magazine to have like a couple pages on Axel, but like not like about Axel portraying the image of being the SoCal kid, but instead like him as an actual person and what he truly likes.
Yeah, and I think you get close to that with his social following and what you get to see through his Snapchat interaction, as far as like his like dealings of himself on a daily basis, as far as like cool shit goes.
Yeah.
He's definitely portraying like a cool image, but I definitely think there's a real side to him that's like waiting to be explained almost. Like, he's still developing and he's still kind of figuring it out too, and I think it'll come out. Like, I think he's like kind of the start of a new form of moto in a way.
I don't know that it's necessarily a new form. It's just a new medium, because if you think of like the original militia guys, or like Larry Linkoggle back in the day, whenever they were jumping, the guys were riding hills and wearing
Seth Enslow.
Yeah, Seth Enslow, like dudes that were making a living off of jumping hills and shit like that. That's not necessarily a new thing. It's just that now, instead of having to wait for the Crusty Demons VHS tape to release and go buy it from the dealership, now you get it instantly as soon as the edit is uploaded to Instagram, and you can watch a minute of killer footage.
Right. And there's always got to be a Blaze trailer, but people have been doing it in skateboarding since the 70s, and it went through a time of like dying where no one gave a shit about it, and like there's got to be someone who has to be relevant enough to make the rest of the kids that know that they can do the same shit, that are stupid enough to try it.
Yeah.
Where we're like the plus 25 crowd, we're not going to try that shit. Sorry. I was born in the early 90s. We live off no footers and simple whips. We're not going to do upside down BS and like risking our lives off the lip of a metal ramp just to go more upside down than the next kid. And that's left to be told by the next generation, and that's what we're here to watch. And brands are going to get more involved in helping kids that are doing that, because it's cooler than just racing. And I can tell you that firsthand, because I've been there pointing a camera at the kids that are racing, and it's like, to me, it's like, that's a bummer, dude. I shouldn't be pointing a camera at these kids that are trying to produce results for a brand and like be put out there like on blast to perform. Like, that's just another added level of pressure. And like, sure, like at a pro level, you're going to be shooting racing, but like these kids like that have the pressure on them to be the next ones, like that's a lot, because everyone's going so fast. So
my opinion on the professionalization of amateur motocross racing, and how it's an absolute detriment towards the sport in general, and how I think, Jordan, what we're seeing now is the absolute kickback of the late 2000s, early 10s, where a lot of the poor mans were run out by the recession, and then that had a vacuum of entries and brought in more people with higher money, and those people wanted more ROI on the money that they were spending and wanted results. And so that has opened the door as a segue towards the send your kid off to live at a training facility type mentality. And now we're living post training facility.
It reminds me of, there was a time, if you look at, like, say, Formula One racing.
Yeah.
Okay, Formula One racing, if you have a $1,000 car compared to $1 million car, you're
Right.
not going to win no matter how good of a driver you are.
Yeah.
To me, motocross has gotten to the point that unless you have, it's less, I'm not going to say, how do I word this? It's going to sound wrong. It used to be more, in my opinion, a good rider was going to win if he was a better rider.
Right.
Relatively, regardless of the situation.
Yeah.
But now, on that level, or at a top amateur level, to me, even if you have all the skill in the world and all the talent, if you aren't paying the money to go train and you don't have at least adequate bikes,
Yeah.
you're not going to compete, even if your skill level is higher than the next guy.
I mean, Hoover, how many kids do you know that went and lived at a training facility and got burned out after a year and now they don't even look at a dirt bike?
Well, I have some interesting perspective on that topic as well. Like, I have some firsthand experience from some people that work within these training camps scattered all over Florida and South Georgia. And there's a certain will of kid that want to twist the throttle more than the next. And there's a certain will of kid that actually want to train because they see that that's like what makes them succeed.
Right.
There's just too many kids now that are that good and get handed everything. There's enough companies out there that want to hand these kids whatever they want and build their heads up however big they need them to be. But these kids can't go out and perform. They're just these I wouldn't say poser because they're all good. Like, they're all fast and talented, but like they can't. Not all of them can race. There's only a certain few that can sack up and really fucking twist the throttle and really go for it and say, "Hey, I'm here to do this shit." Because there's only a few that know it's realistic.
Probably, perhaps it's because motocross is so much of as a coined phrase as it is, a war of attrition, where whenever you're the type of kid that is raised, with a silver spoon in their mouth, that it's whenever it's time to get, to have grit, which I feel like a lot of the younger generation lacks, is just absolute grit. And that's what it takes to be like a true professional racer. Where, I mean, you can be an absolute savage on the dirt bike. And there are kids, dude, they're the kids that I go and like, I will see on Instagram that are like B riders, and they've got themselves like a totally tricked out Honda 250F with a Varner motor in it, and it's like a $20,000 dirt bike. And I'm like, no way would I ever be able to touch that kid because I'm watching, their highlight reel on Instagram. But then we show up at the track and it's like, I'm blowing their doors off, going around the outside of them because they, it's practice day and they're hot for a couple corners and then they, ease up and then ride a couple more corners at like photo shoot speed.
Right, not many keep going when they go and it gets tough.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's interesting what the sport's going through, but I think there's enough kids that like actually see it for what it is to keep like burrowing through the bullshit of some of the common day moto people that we're dealing with in this day and age.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm totally for like the relaxing of motocross, where it's more about fun, because you, me, and Mike all right here got into motocross because of the fun. And then it definitely got lost somewhere along the way. And I think what so many people are focused on is, instead of having fun, but is success. And the fun is lost. Therefore, it's, like I said, we're having a kickback of that and going back into the fun times. But now you can make a living off of being popular by having fun on your dirt bike. You also have to be talented, but
right. There's only a slim margin for a few to succeed.
Right. And
so the rest need to just like sack up and live a normal life, and we'll all pay our bills and pay for our dirt bikes too, because at the end of the day, the people that truly care about it will still be riding.
Yeah, absolutely. I
think that's another thing that a lot of kids see is a better opportunity to be Facebook famous and make a living with a dirt bike that way than they do racing. So that's why that's grown so much.
Sure. So they're seeking that spotlight, you're saying?
Yeah. And I think, if you threw both of them out on the table and it's like, hey, I could make whatever, $2 million a year if I won Supercross championship, whatever.
Yeah.
Or I can work less, have more fun, and maybe make 100, 150 grand, 200,000 a year.
Or even just say like 35 grand.
Even 35 grand,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's a fair living, eh?
Riding a dirt bike,
Yep.
But I mean,
I can live off about, say, $5,000 a year. Crutcher, how about you?
No, he can't. He
He's
shops
more
at
of
a
high
vegan
roller than
bakery,
me.
and those are very
I'm
expensive.
quite of a camper and naturalist. Crutcher's more of a high city living fella, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I've been known to live in a downtown loft or two. Yeah.
Lofts, yeah, downtown lofts. He had quite a bachelor pad when I knew him here in the local Florida.
So you're gonna come up to Iowa for the Evergood Open.
Yeah, sir, I'll be there for 3 days, I believe, unless my van arrives me a little bit earlier.
Right on, dude. Well, it's out of your way, but if you, I would offer my place to stay, but it's pretty good and out of the way for you.
Well, I suppose you guys are coming that way, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to come up Friday. No, see, the thing is, it all depends. And Oak Ridge hasn't released on what days they're racing what classes. So, like, I want to race 250 stroke open and 250A and plus 25. But like,
well, that's called come there on Saturday and hang out for the weekend and bring a tent and sleep with me because there's a shift. All right, so there's a shift. What do they call that? A start.
The whole
start
shot
race.
The whole shot
challenge.
Yeah.
Shift MX whole shot challenge Saturday night.
Yeah.
There's also a live band.
Yeah.
There's also a beer on tap.
So I mean, I'm gonna
for the Plus 21 crowd.
Right. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to be there.
Evergood Open.
I'm going to be there on Saturday night for sure. Now the question is
before Saturday night, like maybe by 4.
Okay.
You're going to need help setting up the
30?
tent. If you're going to sleep in the tent, you got to help set it up.
Well, so I mean,
my tent sets up in 5 minutes. I don't know about yours.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I got a quick tent. But anyway, okay, so Jordan, our local Fox rep is like, he's a big supporter of our show. So I'm like on his team. So, I wear Fox and Shift, more so Shift than Fox, but
yeah, good for you.
Right. And so, yeah, thank you. So that's my guy. So like, I'm going to be there to help out Josh regardless. Now the question, now I have to figure out, am I coming up, Friday night after I get off work, or am I coming up Saturday? It all depends on my work schedule.
Friday night.
I know. That's my goal. But I mean, I'm being realistic because like tonight I didn't get off work until 8:20, and it's a 4-hour drive to Iowa.
Well, why would you work till that late on a Friday?
Because I have an actual job where I have to show up at a certain time, and then they hold me there captive until they're done with me, and then I get to leave.
You should slay instead.
I thought you had a van or some type of delivery truck that you operated out of on a solo independent status.
What? No, I work for FedEx. What are you talking about?
Oh, don't you park that shit at your house or something?
I did okay, see, it's a longer conversation than I'm willing to have right now, but at one point I did. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but
well,
yes, he did live in the back of a FedEx truck for a short time.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So you're coming up to shoot. Are you gonna be shooting for Evergood and Document, or is it just gonna be on behalf of Evergood?
Probably both, but film reels are expensive, so probably be more Evergood leaned.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so now you were talking about like portraying like Axel Hodges. Evergood's been kind of doing the video thing that is kind of similar to what you're talking about with like Dean Wilson, Josh Grant. I'm trying to think of Jason Anderson.
Yeah.
Am I not correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Cooper Webb.
See, I haven't watched them all, but I watched the Anderson and the Josh Grant one.
But I thought they have a website, man. 4 videos. It's better than whatever you're watching on Netflix or whatever you're watching on YouTube. You might as well invest your time in a slight bit of mono video.
For sure.
because it will take your time much more better spent than anything you will see on any other website at this current moment.
Well, I'm not going to lie. When I watched like the Josh Grant one, I was never a Josh Grant fan, but when you watch, like, I guess the way he was portrayed, not the way he was portrayed, but just the way he appeared through Supercross broadcasts, motocross broadcast, that kind of thing, and through these, videos and all that kind of stuff. But when you see like that and you kind of go behind the scenes with him, like, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I didn't used to be.
See,
so
do you think that mainstream portrays him as an asshole?
yes, very much so.
And then, like, as you see him as a real person, you're just like, oh, he's not an asshole. He just doesn't like, the common folk that's coming to cheer him on because they don't really get it.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the truth, because those are some real dudes, and like that's some similar stuff that I portray, and that's why that we work well together, and we're on a friend basis, and I help them out because they're growing something, and they do the same for me, kind of back. So we're here for each other, and that's awesome for me, because I'm trying to build a friendship basis with them all, because everyone does everything differently.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to be an enemy. I'm just here to be like, hey, I'm a part of this shit, like, for real. I know that you guys like work in a professional way, but like, I actually do this. So like, hey, I'm gonna be here, and I hope you're cool with working around me. So, and those dudes are pretty close to that same level too. They're not too far off from what's actually happening. So, and that's why I work closely with them, because they're on the same level.
Hoov, where can the people find you at?
Documentmag.com. But I mainly preach to stay off the internet. That's why I do something in print.
Yeah.
I don't. You don't have to buy my shit if you don't like it. I don't produce it in mass quantities. I like the people that I like, and the people that support me, I really like. So I keep it simple, and I keep it low key.
I think that will be your key to, I'm not going to say success, but key to separate whatever it is that you're doing away from literally everything else in the industry. And there's a complete and total vacuum for like a core style magazine of just exactly what you're doing. And like, whenever Mike and I were flipping through the first one, we noticed it was like, this is like before Playground was Playground, it used to be called Kansas City Extreme, and it was all shot on 35 millimeter. It was all it was all printed in black and white. It was a paper magazine, like a large newspaper, and there's a lot of similarities in it being like that kind of anarchist rag type publication.
Oh, sure. And I'll give Harold Martin a shout out all day long. I respect the shit out of that dude and the image he portrays, but he not to put any offense to him, but he sort of lost track somewhere, I think.
Well, I think that Harold's
but
thing
I think everyone does that, right? Everyone loses track if you don't really stay focused.
Harold set out to make money on the motocross industry, and he saw that there was no existence of a local motocross, right? So he filled the vacuum, and now he's got Playground, the megaplex of the Playground brand with the pickle and then his fitness magazines. So I think now enter Document Mag, and it's you're doing it at the right time, and you're doing it at the right place, and you're doing it for you. But the thing is, what you're doing is cool, and other people will pick up on that and want to be part of it the same way that it is in skateboarding, BMX, mountain biking, so on and so forth.
Right, so it's a different image, and like I said, I'm on to my third issue now, and the third issue is really gathering some traction and people getting involved with it. So you'll definitely see some improvements as far as Document Mag goes in the future, and what we put out coming out soon. So it'll keep growing, and I'm keep persisting at it, and I'm gonna keep on the same track. So we're not giving up anytime soon.
My man, Jordan Hoover. Hey, buddy, it was good to talk to you. We'll catch up in Iowa.
Yeah, Crutchy. Sounds good. See you soon.
Late, bro.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
You too. See you later.
See you, man.
How about Hoov?
Good guy.
So his brother is to put it into perspective, a lot of people are like, who the fuck is Jordan Hoover? His brother is like one of the head guys at Fox.
No way.
Yeah, he's like the rider rep guy.
Really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
You want to do Hot Topics?
I do want to do Hot Topics.
Okay, let's do it. Hot Topic time.
Hot Topics.
Hot Topics are brought to you by Josh Hudson of Fox Racing.
And Shift MX.
And Shift MX.
All of the above.
If you'd like a new set of the 2018 Fox or Shift gear, simply go to your local dealer and order it.
Does look good.
Yeah, it does.
You should go to Donnell's to order it.
Or you can go to Freedom Cycles.
Ooh, either one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hot
Good
Topic
call.
time.
Hot Topic. This weekend, MX of Nations. Have you seen the track?
You're really close to the
Ooh,
microphone.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
How about
You're
now?
fine. You're good.
Have you seen the track?
I saw photos of the track whenever it was a grass track before they put up the banners and stuff.
Have you seen it since it's tilled and prepped and ready for action?
No, is it awesome?
Yes. I love the layout. I think
Okay.
it's going to make for some great racing. But the big kicker in there, very rocky. Like, from the pictures, no one has said this, but from what I can tell in the pictures, like it is really rocky. Like rocky.
Absolutely have to have like case guards and hand guards.
Nose guard, hand guards.
Brutal.
Yes.
Well, lucky for Cole Seeley, his signature edition of the spy goggle that he runs has a nose guard included.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, I know this.
But what I was going to say about that is I think that is going to definitely mix things up because that is something that, I realize that our guys train in the mud and they train this, they can train the sand and all that kind of stuff. But especially like on the outdoors, there's not really a rocky track, not as rocky as this from what I can tell. So I think that's going to play a part in this. This is like Arkansas track rocky.
I didn't realize that there was that much rock in it. See, I just saw the, like capped where they, it was sealed.
Unless these little balls of something in the dirt are something else.
Yeah.
Or I'm just tired and late at night.
Yeah.
It's very rocky. So it should be interesting to watch. The next one.
Yeah.
Next hot topic, Jimmy Dakotas. Okay, so I knew he was out for the outdoor season, but I didn't know why. I just assumed he got hurt. Lyme disease.
Lyme disease, yeah.
He's back.
Right.
He's back on the bike.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to be back for Supercross. That's his plan. But ironically, and I find this very strange, but it's interesting that he says this, he's not really worried about Supercross. He is more concerned about making a showing in the outdoors because he feels that his only shot at another contract is through the outdoors.
Interesting.
Which I would think completely the opposite. I would think that...
Well, I think it's because he's a proven indoor rider and has a really good track record of racing indoors, and he's good in Supercross. But on the outdoors, he's always had an issue, bike problems, injuries, Lyme's disease.
Ticks,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was strange because I realize that they're at another level, but there are guys that have contracts, Supercross only contracts that don't even race the outdoors.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. I thought it was cool that he still is passionate about the outdoors.
Yeah.
And that he finds it equally, if not more important, to perform outdoors as he does indoors. Whereas a lot of guys, once indoors done, that's it.
I hope for his sake that he has a great year.
Yes.
Jimmy D, the Ripper.
Yes. Next hot topic is, did you see the new Alpine Stars gear?
No.
Okay, for whatever reason, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Is it available in America?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, for a long time it wasn't.
As a matter of fact, I think they stock it at Freedom.
Okay, well, I didn't even know it was available. I've never been a fan of it.
Yeah, well, like the early Tomac and Barsha years. Meh.
No.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's been all over my Facebook, in my news feed. People have been sharing it or whatever. But
Okay.
I was going to ask you your opinion on it. I'm still not a huge fan of it, but
I tell you what I
it
really
is
like.
the best Alpine Star gear I've seen.
Okay. I'll look for it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I really like is the new Answer gear.
Haven't seen it.
It's plain Jane. I mean, like One Industries plain.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, like
That worked well for them.
The tops are just, the jerseys are single color with just like the new answer triangle A. Have you seen that new logo?
Okay.
So it's got that, and then it like says answer on the sleeves, and then they've got, I don't know, it's definitely leaning more towards like simple colors, which I think is great. And then I've also seen Liat's new stuff. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Some of the new some of the new Thor gear is really cool. You know, Thor is one of those brands where like, I've never personally been a fan of it, except for like the early 2000s. Essentially, the Imig era Thor gear was awesome. But besides that, I've never been a Thor fan. And I hope for their sake that they can design some cool stuff. I don't know who runs Thor, you know, like their design department. But it kind of, and I know that people are buying this stuff because, you know, they're in business.
What teams? Who runs Thor? Like,
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody runs
It
Thor.
was
anymore.
all Pro Circuit guys. And
Yeah,
then they
but now
went
they're Fox.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
MX vs. ATV All Out. It's a new video game.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm fully aware of what it is, but is it just a rehashed version of the?
I don't know. No idea. I'm not ever going to get my hopes up because they've all gone downhill.
And the thing is, anything post Supercross circuit is not that good.
True.
I
think that was a better era. Not only at that time was that the greatest game of all time, but that was like more of a motocross video game at that time was like meant more.
I understand what you're saying because yeah.
You see, I mean, that sounds weird, but
it's kind of hard to put it to words, and maybe it's because we were of the age, you know, when playing video games was a big deal. I think that nobody has been able to touch the physics that EA Sports did. I mean, because like the bikes only went so fast.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a speedometer.
Nope.
You had the goose, you had the L1, the clutch button.
Yep.
Which, I mean, it would be next to impossible to operate a clutch on a controller for, you know, like PlayStation or something like that. So I think that the goose button was a good idea. But it's the way you got dirty, the way that there were ruts. Now, I will say, like, the last couple editions of MX vs. ATV or Unleash or whatever it was.
Reflex,
yeah, where Reflex was the first one to have where the track deteriorated.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that they could work on that a little bit further. Now, there is a point to where, like, at what point does the video game need to be more arcadey or more simulator?
So I think that's the problem is I think to sell, it needs to be arcade.
Right.
But to really reach motocross people,
Yeah.
it needs to be more simulator. But see, the other thing is
That's
like,
what MX Simulator's for.
but the problem with MX Simulator is like, it's so far simulator that
Right.
like, you have to really be into it like hardcore to even be able to play the thing. It's so hard.
You have to be good at it the way that a person has to be good at riding a dirt bike.
Yes.
It's like if they could...
Although I would argue that not going fast, but riding a dirt bike, sitting on one and taking off is easier to learn than playing MX Simulator.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think if they could just figure out the physics the way that like NBA or anything that EA Sports has done, essentially.
Yes.
They are the authority in sports games.
Yes.
They did Supercross Circuit, which actually, no, I'm sorry.
No, that was 98.9 Studios.
Yeah, 98.9 Studios did
Yeah.
that.
Which who knows what happened to them.
So EA Sports did
they
Jeremy
did-
McGrath Supercross.
Yes.
Or was it just called Supercross the Game?
Okay, no, now wait a minute. Now you got me confused. Supercross the game was terrible, but it had Art Ekman and David Bailey in it.
That was the one that EA Sports did.
Okay. Wasn't that one terrible? But now Jeremy McGrath was pretty good. That was by like Acclaim or somebody.
That's right. Yeah. So, but or was it Neversoft?
Maybe.
But the Jeremy McGrath one, the graphics were fantastic, but the physics were off.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what we're going to have with All Out. Then again, this makes me sad.
Yeah.
But I was talking about this the other day. It makes me sad that like I don't have an interest in sitting down and playing a video game anymore. But yeah, I miss it, but not like I miss those days. But if I'm like, I'm going to do that and I go plug in the PlayStation, it's not the same as it used to be.
Do you have, I mean, yeah, I think it's the new factor.
Yeah.
You know, like whenever we were kids, we would get the latest game.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of gone.
Yep.
And I think that for us anyway, there's just better things to do with our time than playing video games. But I do know guys our age that, you know, like religiously play NBA 2K18.
Yeah. You ever play Mad Skills on your phone?
No, I can't do it.
Okay, so see, that's something like, it's more like Excitebikey to me.
Right. Well, it is. It literally is Excitebike.
Yeah. That I can't, I'm not a all-time player with it.
Jordan Lambert.
Yeah. But I still enjoy doing that, like when I'm on the crapper.
Yeah.
That's something good to do. I'd rather do that than read a magazine. That's a video game, I guess. But like the actual video games are kind of.
Well, see, that's so good because it's so simplistic.
Right. It's simple, but yet it's still competitive.
Yep.
I've never made it in the top
Anything.
So I have a long ways to go.
I liked racing some of my friends on there for a while, you know, whenever everybody was playing it.
Yeah.
But
Now it kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I have a game on my phone and it's simply like you have to spin triangles for them to match colors on each side. That's my game.
But hey, if it makes you happy,
It does. It's a good game.
it's a good game.
Yeah.
You like triangles because Answer, you like the new triangle logo. Your Rider Supply had what is that called? With the it's the pyramid looking
The Eye of Providence.
yes,
I have that tattooed on my arm.
that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And you have a triangle game on you're a three-sided person.
Triangular, yeah.
Okay, moving on. Red Bull Straight Rhythm. Before the show, we were talking about it's a week after Monster Cup, blah,
Yep.
blah, blah. Did you hear about the Ken Roxon two-stroke?
Two-stroke gears. Yeah, I think that's pretty badass.
Who do you think is going to be there? Did you watch the little trailer clip?
Yeah, I watched, you know, I don't know. I mean, obviously Ronnie Mac's going to be there.
Yeah.
Hopefully Pastrana comes back with RMzilla.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I would like to see a couple guys. I mean, the thing is, it's like there are guys that that probably won't get invited to the show and the main races.
Yeah.
Like your Scott Champions.
Yeah.
They could probably get their hands on a 252 stroke and race that. And I would rather watch Nick Schmidt and Scott Champion race on 252 strokes than watch Ryan Dungey and
James Stewart.
well, I can't know because that I would love to watch. That would be a main event of main events. But
Just to see him back would be
let's say Muscan versus Tomac.
Yeah.
Could not give a shit less about watching those two race together. I mean, we see it every weekend in the Pro Nationals.
Sure.
Yeah, whereas you get two guys that are a little, not quite as skilled on slower bikes, and anything could happen. It'd be more entertaining for me.
True.
Yeah.
Good point. Solid point. I also have a couple gripes with Grumpy Greg
Glad to have
before we
him.
close this baby out.
Okay.
The first gripe with Grumpy Greg, if the track opens at 7 a.m. and it takes 15 minutes to get to the track, what time would you wake up and leave?
Hold on. If the gates are at 7,
The gates open at 7.
okay, let's just run Missouri State Day.
Okay.
So gates are, and I'm just going to adjust this slightly. Gates are at 6:30. Practice is at 8:20. I show up at 7:30,
Okay.
and I typically park in the back away from everybody because I'm not worried about getting a good parking spot. I just want either shade or to be away from everything.
Okay.
So assuming, let's say I'm using my dad's trailer and I've already got everything loaded up, so all I have to do is just drop the tongue in and go. I'm going to wake up 45 minutes before I have to leave. It's a 15-minute drive to the track. That puts me, okay, so if I'm getting there at 7:40, that means that I got to leave at 7:20. That means that I'm waking up at 6:40.
Okay. We'll use that race.
Okay.
My dad would be up at 5, on the road at 5:30. If McDonald's takes more than 5 minutes, he's out of line. Like, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
He's there before the gates open. But, ironically, he parks in the back. He parks wherever will be easiest to get out. That's what he bases his parking on. So
Okay.
if that's a front row parking spot, that's where he's going. If it's a back row. But his big gripe is the last several races he's gone to, he's been there. He's had his little area staked out, his little camp. And right before practice starts, somebody pulls in and parks right on top of him.
Oh, dude, that bothers me too.
He has griped about that for weeks now. And I keep forgetting to bring it up on the show.
Somebody did that to him?
Multiple people have done it. And last time he texted me a picture from the track, and he's like, look. And I'm like, what am I looking at? Like, he texted me a picture of this truck.
Okay.
And I'm like zooming in. I'm like, looking for something? I'm like, what? Look how close he parked. I was like, okay. I got here early. He should have got here early if he wanted this spot. So anyway, that's a gripe with Grumpy Greg. The other one, hold on. I've got two more, I believe, from Grumpy Greg. So Grumpy Greg, by the way, has been riding the Mako so hard that he blew the spark plug out of the top of the motor.
He blew it out or it came loose?
Blew it out.
So, like, strip the threading out?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's serious.
Yeah. Okay. So he's also been to a couple modern races.
Okay.
Lately, stopping by, whatever, while I'm announcing that kind of thing. He has a gripe with, you have tabletops.
Yes.
Why do tracks continually water the faces, especially the tops and the landings, as much as they do, like, the corners?
Now, my question here is, what is the case study here? What is the example? What track did this? Who's the culprit?
Well, he wasn't out there at this one, but the one that pops in my head.
You know what? I don't know who this is. Oh my God, what happened here?
Are we taking it?
Yeah, but something happened. Look, it's stuck in text mode.
They're from Texas.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
We've got us a Texas caller, folks.
Gee, dang it. Okay, we'll call them back.
We'll call them back.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, a couple of the vintage races, they have tabletops. They water the top. But the one like I'm thinking of is like, I watched a kid like Kingsville.
Yeah.
Crashed on top of the tabletop at
Because it was
Kingsville.
greasy on top.
Yeah. So I understand where he's coming from. I also understand the dust aspect. But how much dust, in your opinion, is going to come off the face? Like, would it be better if they just lightly watered and it got dusty quicker on the face of the jumps? Or do you see a problem at all there?
I think there should be, every track should have sawdust on it, in my honest opinion, around here. And that there should be a thick enough coating of sawdust mixed into the dirt on the jump faces to where, like Grain Valley used to, call me biased, but there was a reason that my dad tilled the faces of the jumps so then they would not get dusty. Now, you still have to water it, even at Casey Moto.
But it's not slick.
Right. No, that's the thing, is the sawdust holds the moisture in, suppresses the dust. Yeah, I don't know.
Good point.
So we had a caller from Amarillo, Texas, and I have no idea who that was, and they left a voicemail. I don't know how to play it. Okay, so FYI, I totally screwed up. Jeremy Wilkins from Amarillo called, and I forgot to push the record button on his track. So it's going to jump forward straight into his conversation a couple minutes in, but powerful Jeremy Wilkins from Amarillo. So let's get to him.
Control. So I think that's been a big positive for this kid, and I'm pretty pumped to go out there next week. We got a D8. I'll have it for 2 weeks, and I'm just going to wreck shop.
There you go. So,
but other than that, dirt building, just been building some house pads, which is super lame. Trimming some stupid trees. I got a 50-foot lift nowadays, and just trying to make it through life. But other than that, I'd really rather be building motocross tracks.
I'm with you, dude. Are you? Have you rode your dirt bike lately?
No, but I need a new kit. You know, that kit that I have, it's kind of wearing out on the knees.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. Even my own shit gets. I'm harder on graphics than probably any one of my customers, and it kind of.
I say the same thing. I'm like, cool. Yeah, like when I first laid that set on that you sent me, it lasted longer than any graphics kit I've ever had, which was a week or so.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But for the week that I ride, I'll put my bike up for 6-7 months or whatever, and then hey, let's go ride.
Got you a showpiece, dude.
And yeah, and so I sent it at the dunes. That was a total yard sale. I'd never ridden a paddle tire in my life. I went to Winoka for one of my buddy's 30th birthday parties. We're getting old.
Yep.
And took it out there, and I was like, I've never ridden a paddle tire. They showed me this jump. They were like, there's no way you can make it. I was like, well, let me check it out a little bit. And I scoped it a couple of runs, and I was like, oh, shoot. If I hit this fifth gear pin, I think I can hit it.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Well, I sent it a few times. Actually, I sent it. It was good. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is sweet. So I thought, I'm 30 years old. I haven't thrown a whipper tail in a while. Let me go get sideways off this thing. Well, I tried that out, and it didn't. And I yard fell fifth gear pin all the way down the hill.
You're a regular fucking Seth Inslow, Wilkins.
Oh, dude, I was going for it, and I was just like, oh, boy. And I grabbed that rear brake, and, I make an excuse for it nowadays. I got to my bike after it, and then the spring for the brake, you get the rotor and everything, like your spring caliper to the engagement.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That spring was disconnected. Okay. So my fault of it is I totally was laid out, stomped on the brake, and it just locked up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get anything back. Well, I blamed it on the brake. I mean, there's probably just goon squad in there is what it was.
I'm with you, dog. So, dude, I totally fucked up, and I turned off the recording for the call-in audio track for a little bit whenever Mike and I were just talking. So I missed like the first 45 seconds of our conversation, but I'll go in and try to piece it all together.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah. So, Jeremy Wilkins, have you been listening to OTB, or are you just?
Yeah, I've been paying attention over the bars.
Hell yeah, dude!
And you've been going over the bars.
That was an original acronym, like back in the day, people were, I don't know. And you rode Supercross probably when I was trying to ride Supercross, and it was OTB, dude. We went OTB in the loop section, you know what I mean?
Wilkins, so, okay, listen to this. Actually, I had never said OTB before in my life until I was going to all the Supercross races on behalf of Feld and doing inside track, and there was this girl.
Don't let anyone claim to OTB, because, I've been saying it for a minute. Me and Milliken, you remember old Alex Milliken?
Yeah, of course. That was one of his things.
Total goon squad, all of us.
That's funny. So, dude, yeah, I totally, I used to have a pretty big crush on this girl that rode BMX, and she came to one of the to one of the Supercross races, and we were talking about how, because she had like a bum leg or something, and she was gimping around at the Supercross race, and I was like, dude, what's your problem? She was like, I went OTB, and like it clicked immediately. I knew exactly what she meant, and so I was like, that's got a good ring to it. So I was like, I'm going to use that one day, and then I ended up naming our podcast OTB.
It works out perfect, because every time I think of OTB, and as crazy as it is, I think the most of all the slams, Milliken won it is Supercross. I think it was like Seattle 2007 or 2008.
I remember that.
He was going through the loops, and Milliken was the famous guy for going, you're fifth gear pinned or you're a pussy. Well, Milliken went OTB, fifth gear pinned, and I'm pretty sure it was like Atlanta or Seattle, like 07, 08. It was over the bars, something serious. You can make your cover profile picture or whatever. Just Milliken 707 slamming into whoop.
Dude, I'll look that up. So, hey, Wilkins, are you going to tune into Red Bull Straight Rhythm?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm in Amarillo, Texas right now. I think I'm going to roll out about 3:30, 4 in the morning. I'm going to make it to Pro Challenge and just go check out the action. Oh,
hey, speaking of that, so tomorrow the run of the 450 class, and then on Sunday is the 250 class. Is there a rain forecast this weekend in the Tyler area?
Yeah, I think so. But, there it's kind of wishy-washy. So it's same for up here. But either way, they're going to run that race.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Absolutely. I mean, there's way too much.
I'm
Dude,
all down for the NAR. JC Chappelle. Do you know who Chappelle is?
I actually, yeah, I know him. We're friends on Facebook. So we used to race like in the schoolboy class, intermediate class.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you and all of us have all lined up together. Chappelle, you, me, all of us. But Chappelle, he's kind of a couch surfer.
Yep.
He was definitely a couch surfer, and I'm pretty sure he's going to come out to the Pro Challenge and maybe top 10 that thing.
I hope that he
and
does.
For a 30-year-old dude to come out and top 10 the Pro Challenge, and I really think he definitely has it in him. Whether he lasts that long or not, we'll see. JC, good luck.
Yeah, for sure. But I hope that it doesn't get too muddy, and I'd love to see Chappelle put in a good result, because like I said, we just became friends on Facebook. Like, I knew his name and I had talked to him a lot before at Mosier back in the day, but he
back in the day, holy shit, Mosier. Yeah, that's
I can tell by looking at photos and like Instagram videos of him that the dude can clearly twist the throttle, but he's very low key about it.
Yeah, he can play.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And JC Chappelle is one of exactly what you just said, most low key, down to earth people I've ever known in motocross community. I mean, Han, like Will and Tommy, they're good friends of JC's. And he's not an elaborate guy, but he's a really fun guy.
I'm on board.
And he's really fun to ride with.
Hell yeah, bud. Yeah. Hey, Jeremy, we're going to keep the show rolling. We got to get a couple more calls in. But, bro, thanks for calling in. Stay tuned to ODB and follow it on iTunes and shit.
Absolutely, brother. Hey, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate your graphics and all the hard work you're doing for the sport.
All right, man. Hey, tell a couple people about the show, bro.
For sure.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
I feel like that's a really good show.
I feel like we have taken large leaps tonight.
And we've really, I feel like we set the bar really low for the first time of using the new equipment, so we can only go up from here.
That's contradicting what you just said.
What do you mean?
It was a really good show.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I'm saying, it was okay.
Our capabilities are much higher.
Yes. Okay, so we're here, okay, and this is a really good show. We could be up here, which would be an absolutely terrific show.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. Okay.
So, we started good, but the bar is low.
Yeah.
A lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, our jetting was a little off. Like the new motor still is it's head and heels better than the last motor.
Absolutely.
Our jetting's a takeoff.
We just got to figure out the bog on the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, the go wop,
Yeah.
wop. Yeah, maybe lean out the air screw, raise the needle a clip or two.
Just go fuel injected.
I'm too cool for that, man.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to be a patron to the Over the Bars podcast, go to patreon.com/overthebars. And then also, if you would like to pick up a Over the Bars podcast t-shirt, go to ripandruts.com, click on the store, and then it's just $15 for the shirts, which is $10 for the shirt, $5 for shipping. And then it'll be there within 2 days once we process and package it up and ship it out. And we got all sizes in stock. I think we're almost out of 2X. We might have 2X left. But thanks to everybody that came to KC Moto and bought shirts. I mean, we sold, I think, 6 or 7 of them at the motocross track. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, and then we shipped out 10 of them to our patrons. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously going up. People are on board.
I like it.
Yeah, thanks to Jeremy Wilkins for calling in. Also, sorry for screwing up the call at first. Also, thanks to Jordan Hoover for giving us a recap on what Doc Magazine is up to, and of course to Jeff Garlach, the doctor from Wichita, who gave us a very thorough understanding of lower back science and why it's just as important as the engine on your dirt bike.
True story.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to add, Michael?
No.
You know, I always give you the opportunity and you never say anything.
It's because you catch me off guard. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know what to do with my hands.
It's kind of like you're along for the ride, and then I'm just like, here, take the wheel.
Right. And it's like, it's the end of the show. We're driving down the highway, like the hum of the car. I'm starting to doze off, and all of a sudden you're like, take it.
Yeah, take
80,
it.
80
It's
mile an
all
hour. Around an S curve. In between two semis.
So there was an old joke about a young man that was probably about 10 years old, and his parents drank a lot. And we always imagined them going to the motocross track. Dad's in the driver's seat, motorhome, 20-foot trailer full of bikes, and yells to the kid, "Come here, boy, take the wheel. I got to get a beer." I will never forget the thought of this little 10-year-old. I'll tell you off air who I'm talking about, and you'll laugh. The thought of this 10-year-old kid taking the wheel while his dad goes and gets a beer because he doesn't trust his kid to get up and get the beer for him. Meanwhile, mom's passed out on the couch on the way to the races.
Wait, is this a joke or a real life story?
Well, it's a joke that we played up as being a real life story.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Played off of, there was a kid, okay, to justify it. So there was a kid, Chris Graham from Columbia, 14, 15 years old, and he'd be driving the motorhome and trailer on the way to the motocross races because his dad would be in the kitchen literally mixing cocktails on the way to the track.
You gotta get the party started. Pre-game.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I once sat in a kiddie pool with Mark Graham, and I was at Loretta's in 2002, and he offered me a cocktail. I was 13 years old. He had no idea. He was so far gone, just resting in the kiddie pool, that he was like, "Hey, Crutch, you want a cocktail?" No, Mark. I don't think so. Not today. Go to ripandruts.com. Order yourself an Over the Bars podcast t-shirt. Tell your friends. Wear your shirt. Put your stickers everywhere.
Good night.